Best games, NFL Week 6. Here we go. I'm kicking off this segment because, in my opinion, there are only 5 really good games on the slate. I'm just going to go quickly and I'll let you respond. To me, Colts Jaguars, very good game. Indianapolis played them very tough in week 1. How does Gardner Minshew play now that he knows he's going to be the starter for the next month? Can Jacksonville bounce back after their big win in London against Buffalo? Can they get the momentum riding? Talked about this a little bit earlier. Seattle, Cincinnati. Seattle coming off a bye. Can Cincinnati and Joe Burrow keep their momentum going after their win against Arizona? Niners, Browns. Unlike most people, if Deshaun Watson plays in this game for the Browns, just right now is a big if. I actually think the Browns can give San Francisco a game. I think they match up really well on the defensive line. I think they match up really well in the secondary. If the Browns are able to run the football against San Francisco, get some play action, I think this is a very interesting game.
I have some thoughts about that game, but we can discuss that afterwards.
The next game, Lions Tampa, a game I would have never thought to put on this list at the start of the season, but Tampa's playing well. Baker Mayfield coming off a bye. Lions are hot. Can they keep their momentum going? And then obviously we talked about it. Dallas Chargers, probably the biggest game of the week this week, maybe outside of Niners Browns. Can Dallas bounce back against their former OC Kellen Moore off a bye, who's looking for revenge against his former team? Those are my best games in week 6.
All right, I'm going 1 to 5. Number 1, as much as I would love to put 49ers Browns there, because I am a Browns fan, I can't do it. I got to go with Lions Buccaneers.
As the number 1 game, oh my God, how? There are better games on the slate. Niners Browns, a better game.
The reason I'm putting Lions Buccaneers as number 1 is because I think it has the most interesting, in my opinion. I get that Kellen Moore facing his old team is an interesting storyline. How Dallas responds, I get it. But we expected Detroit to be this good. We expected them to be first place in the NFC North. Did we expect Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield to be playing like this at this
point? But how long will that last?
So for me, because you have that storyline of Detroit was expected to be here, Tampa Bay was not. I like that. I think it adds to the intrigue of it. This could be like a possible playoff preview in a wild card round, maybe, if Tampa does not win the division. They could still sneak in as a wild card and face Detroit. So I like that aspect of the game. Number 2, this is where I have to agree with you. I almost said Saints Browns. No, 49ers Browns. So I want to take a little break from best games and just talk about specifically 49ers Browns. Because here's the thing. I know that the hype was more on Dallas' side when it came to last week's game between the Cowboys and the 49ers. But, I'm sure the 49ers still got caught up in all of it, at least a little bit. So I'm wondering if the 49ers are going to be a little bit mentally tired, or however you want to say it, from, all the hype and all the hoopla and whatever other word you want to use surrounding that game. And now they have to go play a 10 a.m. Pacific time start in Cleveland. And here's the other aspect, is that because they had to play on Sunday Night Football and they have to travel to Cleveland, that's a little less practice time for the 49ers. So I think that's going to tie into it.
I disagree with you on that point because it's a Sunday to Sunday. If it was a Monday, I agree, but it's Sunday night. They're going to get back. They'll go through their normal routine, I imagine, on Monday. I don't think they lost any time.
Okay. So, but in my opinion, that's where the Browns have 2 slight very, very slight advantages over the 49ers. I'm not saying those two advantages are going to be enough for the Browns to beat the 49ers, but the fact that they had to play on Sunday Night Football, get caught up in all the shenanigans, hoopla, hype, whatever word you want to use, surrounding this Cowboys game, and now they have to travel to Cleveland for a 10 a.m. start their time. I think that gives the Browns two slight advantages. But we'll see if that actually translates into a win for them. Number 3, I am going with the New Orleans Saints coming off of their win against the New England Patriots. They're headed down to Houston to take on CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. How do the Texans respond after a last-second loss against the Atlanta Falcons? You've got a very good Saints team coming into your building. CJ Stroud, everyone's talking about you like, okay, the Texans got it right. Back it up. Show that you can have that resiliency. Show that you have the ability to bounce back and beat a very good Saints team. So that's my number 3. Number 4, obviously, I'm going to agree with you on this one. It's Seahawks Bengals for me. The Seahawks, we've talked about it. I feel very strongly about how good the Seahawks can be. You know, I would still put them ahead of Dallas right now, but we talked about that. And then the Bengals, they seem to have found their groove. And they have their bye week next week. So that's another opportunity for Joe Burrow to get healthy. You know, this is going to be another one where it's an early start for Seattle, 10 a.m. How do they adjust to that? So I think that's a very intriguing game. And then for me, I got to agree with you again. It's Cowboys Chargers. Obviously, you have the Kellen Moore versus his old team factor. But for me, it's how the Chargers adjust now that they don't have Mike Williams. That was a big piece that he lost on offense. They still have Keenan Allen. They still have Austin Eckler. They still have Quentin Johnson. I get it. But Mike Williams was a big part of their offense. So how do the Chargers respond following that loss?
So the only real game we disagree on, then, you have Saints Texans, I have Colts Jags. I think Colts and Jags are going to be a fascinating, highly entertaining, high-scoring game. I think Gardner Minshew plays well. I just don't want to see a 13-10 Saints Texans game because that's what it feels like to me.
Okay, I hear you on that, but the thing with Colts Jags is the Colts seem to struggle when they go down to Jacksonville.
They do.
And the problem is Anthony Richardson is probably out for a month, which I feel like the Colts got it right by drafting him, but I'm concerned that he's gotten injured, 3 or 4 times?
At least 3 or 4 times. I mean, the kid is so raw. The kid is so talented, but he is clearly already injury prone.
And I'm not saying that the Colts need to sit him for the rest of the season or whatever, but I think there needs to be a little bit of concern there that he's gotten injured this many times already. Do you agree there?
Yes, I do.